I think the New Age movement has its impetus, though, from a reaction to the emptiness of rank atheism and materialism. So that kind of got promoted in the West, started after the Enlightenment. You get a lot of atheist thinkers that, help set the stage for Marxism. Darwin plays a big role in that. So atheism and materialism is my next delusion on the list. And it seems to be kind of losing some of its strength. We really saw the heyday of modern atheism and materialism in the 2000s. I watched a documentary the other day on YouTube atheism and kind of the history of this phenomenon from the days of early YouTube in the 2000s with TJ Kirk and TJ at a popular level promoting a lot of the ideas of Dawkins, Hitchens, Dennett, Harris, etc. So the horsemen, the four horsemen of atheism. This kind of, I would say, it had its heyday around the time of Dawkins's God Delusion book, which was promoted very heavily. And that seems to be waning, right? Especially once people like Dawkins and Harris, once they started to be really challenged by people who could defend their position, like John Lennox, the mathematician, we started really seeing the cracks in their philosophy on a public level, on the public stage, where they really started to fail at adequately defending their positions, Hitchens included, right? And so, on my channel, we've analyzed a lot of those classic debates between William Lane Craig and the various atheists, and Lennox and the various atheists, and we've even gone into the Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris and all those debates, Matt Dillahunty and so forth. But of course, there are still quite a few atheist materialists out there, and I would say just at a basic level, the atheist materialist worldview has no ability whatsoever to justify any of its claims, to give an account for knowledge, to give any kind of coherent, sensible metaphysic, precisely because it's an anti-metaphysical position for the most part. Yet at the same time, is sort of from the outset boxed itself into a very limiting metaphysical position, which conditions the rest of the beliefs in the atheist materialist worldview. So if you start with the presupposition that all that exists and all that can exist is physical matter, physicalism, you're necessarily going to have to believe a bunch of other things, right? So knowledge, right, abstract objects, etc. They're all going to be very difficult things for you to account for. And you're going to have to reduce them in some way to matter, to physical objects. It becomes very difficult to reduce really complex mathematical things, thoughts, meaning, abstract concepts, universals, mathematical entities to molecules. Okay, it's not possible. And so this invariably leads to absurdities. Also, most of the people in that frame of mind are determinists. So they typically don't have any account for not just knowledge, but for our choices, our responsibility, and for human volition. This then reduces their actual positions to not being things they discovered, but their own positions and arguments are actually just chemical reactions and thus not true. This is very devastating to that position. The naturalist determinist fallacy pretty much undercuts any arguments that they would make. We made this point in our very first atheist debate, second atheist debate 7 years ago with JF, where JF was arguing this point. And I reiterated to him that, well, then you're not actually arguing and you didn't actually write your books. That made JF pretty mad because that's obviously the case. No atheist can escape this dilemma because they've locked themselves into that dilemma via their metaphysical presupposition.
I actually heard I don't know where it was on Jim Bob or somebody, some atheist actually said, we verified logic empirically.
Yeah, that was J Mike. That's the guy that hosts the show that Matt Dillahunty used to host, The Atheist Experience.
Oh, you know what happened to me the other day? I was running outside and I tripped over some logic, and I fell into you hit
disjunctive
syllogism.
You hit the logic stone with your toe.
I hit the logic stone, and I fell into a deductive argument, and I had to wash a mess. I had to wash all the deductive argument off of me, and everybody could see it. Everybody could see the deductive argument on me, and they're like, "Oh, gross."
Yeah, somebody was asking me my birthday the other day, and it turns out that my birthday was actually stored in the booger that I picked out of my nose the other day. So I will never know again my birthday, because that date, that memory, was actually stored within that piece of nose material that I flicked off. So we're screwed. Guys, be sure and keep up with your nose, your snot. That could be a law of logic. It could be your social security number. So be careful. Yeah, great point. Next up,